Looking back to Saturday's match, the squad saw a bit of rotation. Was there anybody that stood out to you during the match?
Um, well, I think we obviously had a few guys that hadn't played minutes in a while, that played heavy minutes, and I thought they did a pretty good job. Sadiq, the left wing back, played 90. Josh Ramos, right wing back, played 90. Niall came in and had a very strong first half in the runs he made. So I think the big pat in the back I'd give to those boys is you've got to be doing a lot of work to be able to play 90 minutes in a very hot environment at Fuego, having not played lots of minutes before. So that's a testament to the work that they're doing in training, the self-discipline that they have to make sure when their chance gets called that they've got 90 minutes in the legs. And that part I thought was very strong and impressive by them.
Then looking ahead to Friday, it will be the second time the team's faced Knoxville this season. What are some things you are hoping to see differently from the team this time around?
Oh, we need a different performance. I mean, look, we've taken losses, we've won games this year, but that there's different ways to lose games, and that away performance did not feel good. Wasn't a ton of big chances in the matches, but the territory that they had on us and our inability to throw enough punches back at them, they suffocated us and outworked us in that game, and never like seeing that. You can accept, okay, somebody makes a big play like Rosales did in that match, but where the territory of the game was something that we should have rectified, and that needs to happen on Saturday. So we'll analyse that, and we anticipate a very, very different performance against what is a very, very strong team, well coached team, well drilled team. You're going to have to do something special to score goals against them because they're so rugged defensively, and they've got good structure in attack. But it needs to be a hell of a different performance, and we expect to have that.
Okay. That's all I have. If Luke, you want to go ahead and with your questions?
Yeah, appreciate it, Noah. Just Ian, just first off, just kind of tell me your initial thoughts on how you thought y'all played against Fuego on Saturday.
It was a game of two halves. Not trying to be cliche, but first half, I thought we were very, very strong. Created a couple of very, very good opportunities beyond the goal that we scored, which is a kind of low probability goal. So we pressed them well, played the game in their half. I thought it was a really dominant performance, especially away from home, knowing that they'd had a bye week, so we're fully fresh, ready for the game. And then they made a lot of changes, which they needed to at halftime because of the flow of the game. And I don't think we adapted quick enough. I don't think we retained possession well enough in the second half, and didn't create enough. Sometimes you kind of hold out for a result when you're on the road, and we've not won a ton of games recently, so that psyche, that kind of hold to that's stick or twist mentality can be tough for young guys, especially on the road. But I think we've just analysed it. I think the whole group agree. When you look at the film, there's a lot of things we could have done differently in the second half to really win and push for the second and control the game better. And we gave them some belief to get back into the game and didn't manage a couple of moments well enough to see out the victory. But you respond, you win the penalty shootout, which is good. You get that extra point. And again, results on the road are never bad. But I still think we should have, from the position we're in, we should have seen out the game with a victory.
And then I'm going to ask this. I don't know if you're going to answer or not, but can you give me some kind of injury updates on Ford and Connor and what they're kind of looking like, and also the rest of the team, kind of health-wise?
Yeah, the one thing I've learned from this call is different than the broadcast one of the ESPN that gets sent out on the game day, and that's just our notes. On this call, you've got a situation where more people watch it than I thought, and our players watch it, opponents could watch it, and so forth. So it's not the platform to be speaking about where our squad's at, but we're in a relatively good place, and we'll have lots of able bodies to put in the performance we need to get the result.
Okay, I understand. I got to ask anyway. I did want to ask you though. I saw obviously Drew was the only goalkeeper on the roster for Saturday. Just who is the emergency goalkeeper if something had happened to Drew where he was unable to continue? What happens in that? Who do you have on the roster you feel like goes in there and plays goalkeeper as an emergency?
Well, obviously the one on Friday was quite a last minute thing, right? Saturday past. So for this upcoming weekend, we'll have two choices. I mean, I think we've got the possibility to bring some keepers in if we don't think Ford's back. He will be laid off for a couple of weeks. I'm no problem kind of sharing that one because that won't come as much of a surprise once he's not in the lineup again. So we'll have academy options. We've got the ability to bring guys in as short-term contracts. So a lot of those discussions are coming through. if we needed a field player, then it's whoever's got the longest throw probably, and we've got a couple of candidates for that. But we'll have, the luxury that we have in a club like ours, in the way that we're structured, is that we have the ability to bring in academy contract players to make a difference, and we have ability. There's lots of free agents out there that we can add to the squad to bolster. So both of those, our first port of call will be our academy, because that's what it's there for. It's there to supplement the first team. So on Friday, we'll probably have a solution there from the academy, which we'll be excited about, and you'll likely see an article come out here shortly about. And then as you go into kind of a more of a medium term, then there may be an addition to the squad if we need that.
Okay, and then I don't know that we've had a chance to speak since Jordan Malio has left the team. Just kind of talk about his impact, what he meant to this program, and what his departure means for you and the staff going forward.
Yeah, so kind of more holistically, Jordan was part of a crew with Tom Morris and Jorge Gonzalez that joined me when I first became a head coach, and have given me so much support and guidance. As a young group of coaches, we had a lot to learn, and we went through it together, and obviously got some outstanding returns in 2022. But Jordan's an academy coach who basically, with his ethic, his competency, his just demeanour around the place, just demanded of the organisation that he should be in the first team as an assistant, because he's such a great lad, has such a good, sharp brain, and adds so much value. And then in the last year and a half, he became just a full-time staff member, and I leaned on him heavily last season in the first part of this season. We'll miss him greatly. He's doing it primarily. The first move is primarily for personal reasons, and a beautiful thing in love, and a partner that he's moving to be with, which is with our full support. And I think they'll make for a wonderful family. We're excited to see that. And then anticipate very soon he'll start his professional career elsewhere in the kind of Greater Charlotte area, and we'll give him full support. And if we have to face against him, that'll be hard, because we love the lad so dearly, and those guys that have left us recently as assistants, brilliant people, brilliant coaches, and will forever be part of our family.
And then how does the responsibility shift among you and the rest of the staff to take up for what he was able to do while he was here?
Well, it's always the thing when we didn't want that to happen, but when it does happen, then it presents opportunities. My right hand man just now is Jordan Bell, who's very, very strong. He was the keeper and doing field stuff in the back line. Now he'll just go more heavily into the field stuff, which is what he did in Knoxville last year. It's what he's licensed to do. It's what he's trained to do. It's what his future holds. So Bell has really good competencies that balance against me. He's got a very strong defensive. So yeah, he's really, really strong, and will seamlessly move into that role. And then what it presents for Drew DeJohn, who's running the academy team just now, is he's cut his teeth doing some really nice things with our academy. They're playing good football. He's their lead. He's their head coach. So now he'll take on more ownership of those early phases of training sessions. And again, he's perfectly equipped to. So it'll be quite a seamless transition. We've got the guys with the competency to do that, and it opens opportunities for them to have an elevated say in the office. Now I'll tap in and lean on those guys, and that's the next evolution, and that's the way it should be. And what the owners have done here is given us a nice staff in general. So then if somebody departs us, we can plug those holes pretty quickly. And that's the foresight that they bring, and the foresight the staff has had, which is good. So our boys won't feel any difference other than, the personality of Jordan that's lost.
Right. And then you touched on this a little bit briefly, but can you just talk a little bit more about the challenges that Knoxville brings, their style of play, and what you kind of expect to see from them, and what you've seen from them on film this season?
So since their inception, which was obviously last year was the first year, I've not seen them give up many easy goals from bad defending and so forth. They've obviously conceded, but the defensive discipline they have and how coordinated they are, both pressing and in deep blocks, is one of the best in the league. They're one of the hardest teams to score against. And then structurally in possession, they are one of the most structured teams with a clear identity across the league, and that's merits to the players, but the coaching staff that they have there. So again, they don't have many luxury players who don't defend. They get lots of bodies forward to create their chances, and you've got to be right at it. You've got to combat their physicality, combat their coordination and the structure to earn the right to play against them and to cause problems. So like I said, away from home, don't think we covered ourselves in great glory in terms of how few chances we created. And the problem, we didn't cause them enough problems. That has to be changed at home on Friday night. And we have certain plans put in place to make sure. But then through the run of play, if you aren't willing to work really hard, combat them in midfield, the attackers aren't willing to kind of go up with battles with the physicality of their back line, and then they can suffocate you and bully you. But I do not plan on coming off the field on Friday night having felt like our team got bullied. So as long as we match that, I think we've got some nuances to our team that can maybe be the difference maker to win the match.
And then also wanted to ask you, I know we're kind of out at the halfway point of the season. Obviously, the results haven't been what you'd hoped for. How do you feel like the process has been as far as developing your team, getting them to play the way you want them to play? How has that process gone, and what do you see going forward from this team?
It's ongoing because there's certain processes that you planned on the start of the season that you wanted to stick with, but if results aren't there, our organisation is built on trying to win a championship, and we've still firmly got that in our mindset. So it's about making the playoffs, having a run in the playoffs, and trying to be in the final to go and win it again and be the first team in USL 1 to have won it twice. So that's still firmly our plan. To do that, we accept that this isn't an academy club. This isn't just a developmental club. We have to adjust our processes. Now we're a halfway point. We would have wanted to be further along than we are. We'd have liked to see more results than we have. We'd have liked to have seen, quite frankly, better performances from some of the players that we have. So now there's enough minutes played, enough evidence to say who do we need to build upon the team and who's on catch-up, who's going to have to show something more, something different to forge their way into the squad. There's plenty of minutes played now to do that. So now, first half is about process and having identity and giving guys opportunities. As we get into the second half of the season, now it's about you've had those opportunities. Now we need to whittle it down to the guys who can clearly get the results, as opposed to just put a lot of eggs in the basket of the identity of the football we play and so forth. So we're not where we want to be. Don't think there's any point hiding away from that. But the staff, the players, we are all willing to be adaptable. We're all still singing off the same song sheet. In the last 2 weeks especially, I think we've had a lot of good meetings, productive meetings, vulnerable meetings where players and staff alike have been willing to say, okay, what needs to change? And in the next third of the season, the bedrock that we've created in the last couple of weeks, we hope to see that to come to fruition. I'd say in the last 5 games, we've only got 3 draws and 2 losses in the last 5. So only 3 points from 5 matches. But if you look at statistically, we should have got more out of the games. So that's us not taking enough of our chances. And then that's us giving up really, really sloppy goals. So that, again, is not as much about the process as it is about accountability. And the boys are perfectly aware the accountability in the last couple of weeks has went up a big notch and will go up even further to get them to where they should be, because we're underperforming in terms of results. And it's my job to change that, and we fully anticipate it to change that in the next 3-4 weeks.